Hello there, today I'm going to be going through my top 10 coasters. But you may have noticed the elephant in the room, and I don't mean myself, but I do mean myself because I'm here. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you'll know I never appear on camera. But I just wanted to try like a bit of a new format, in a way, which hence the simpler video. It's just a top 10 to test the waters a bit. Let me give you the tour. We have the map wall, which has grown by one map. I know, I can't believe it either. Just over here. Oh, no. Spoilers! No, that's a board with my top 10 on it. We don't want to see that yet. We have Coaster Corner, where the wall is there, and it meets there in the corner, the Coaster Corner. We've been through this before. Yeah, here is my top 10. Forgive me if I'm a bit of a mess. I'm very rarely on camera, so I don't really know what to do when I'm on camera. But yeah, future videos might be like this, it might not be like this. I'll just see how I like it. Anyway, I've wasted enough of your time. Number 10 is Colossus. I think this year is the year I've truly warmed up to Colossus. I can't believe I said it was rougher than Soar at one point. It's not. Soar is horrific. Colossus is smooth. It's brilliant. If I said to myself a year ago that Colossus would be in my top 10, I wouldn't believe myself. And yet here we are, it's in 10th in my top 10. I can't believe it. Some highlights have to be the 2 corkscrews, very whippy. Or, of course, the 5 Heartline rolls. Probably the only thing on any ride that makes me genuinely dizzy. Moving swiftly on, we have the greatest one-trick pony of all time in number 9. It's Oblivion. It doesn't matter how tall you go, its drop will still be unrivaled. Nothing will beat diving into a misty pit. I just love everything about it, like the suspense, the build-up as you go up and round. And then in the tunnel, I find it to be like deafeningly loud in there, but that's probably one of the best parts of it. Sure, it doesn't have a layout, but does it need one? No. Hello there, editing me here. Just realised I managed to do an entire Oblivion segment without mentioning the drop once. Whoops! But yeah, the drop is very good as well. At 8th, we have Wicker Man, the Big Burning Man ride. Other people would argue that it should be higher, but to be honest, I think I've just had a couple not very good rides on it. Some very strong row 7 rides. Every time I go. I've only got back row once, but I remember it was quite good, but don't remember how good. But what can I say that hasn't been said? The theming is really good, it's got a brilliant queue. The queue moves, and it moves at quite a pace. It's never a painful queue, Wicker Man. The airtime is great, especially in the back row, from what I remember. Not in row 7, never in row 7. The pre-show is brilliant, and I've definitely not because I've recited it word for word every single time I've seen it. Couldn't be me. 7th is Stealth on the front row. Now this one that people would really argue should be higher, but it's just kind of over really quickly. I guess that's the point. But it's over before I've even realised I've launched half the time. But you do get some great views, some great airtime. I do find it's a bit too forceful for my liking going up into the top hat. I don't know if I'm just sitting wrong, but I find it quite often hurts. Moving at an absolutely rapid pace, at 6th we have the big one. What a ride! Some would argue this should be out of my top 10 entirely, but you weren't there for the remarkably smooth, remarkably fast ride I got on it March this year. Silky smooth, fast, boring after the first hill, was still a really good ride. At 5th is Nemesis Inferno. Everyone tells me that this has to be below Reborn, and currently it is, but every fibre in my being wants to put it above Reborn. It's just incredible. It's such an underrated ride. I don't get why everyone hates it so much. It's smooth. I'd say the corkscrews are arguably more whippy than Reborns, and that's all that matters to me, it seems. It's just a brilliant ride. Back row, of course, every time. It's just incredible. It is, in my opinion, I think honestly the ride experience is better than Reborn, but I think as an experience, Reborn wins it. Speaking of, in 4th is Nemesis Reborn. Like I just said with Inferno, I think it's got a slightly worse layout than Inferno, which I know I'm going to be like hung, drawn and quartered for that one. But I think overall, the soundtrack, the theming, I think that's all better than Inferno. But I just think layout-wise, I think Inferno has it beat. In my eyes, I clearly can't see what everyone else can see. Inferno just feels like a better layout, and a longer layout, more importantly. And I get everyone always goes on about, oh, but your feet, they're going to crack against the rocks. But I've not been on the front row of Reborn yet, so... Well, because they removed the front row queue. Whose idea was that? No, we had to fit the ribs in, but that was more important than the front row queue. Fuming, unacceptable. But frankly, until I get that front row ride, I don't think I've properly experienced Nemesis Reborn. So it might still... Well, once I do, I think it will probably be very clear above Inferno. But at the moment, I want to say Inferno's better, but I know I'm going to be like publicly executed if I say that. At third is the Swarm. What a ride! A brilliant ride. I would argue almost a perfect ride. The restraints have been made better. Now that the vests are unlocked, you get so much like hang time dangling out of your. I don't know why I did that. Dangling out of your seat, especially on the wing overdrop, front row on the right side specifically. No other row has hang time. No hang time anywhere else. Only there. You just. I've done it again. I don't know why. Sure, you know that can indicate hang time. You just kind of do that, and you dangle. You dangle. And of course, the rest of the ride is great. The 0G roll, hang time. The billboard, I've never noticed how good it was before, but it's really good now for some reason. Even though we've got 7 other billboards. Why has everyone stolen the billboards? I'm furious. The incline loop, it doesn't need to be there, does it? As you know, it looks good. It doesn't do much, but it looks good. The turn over the lake, arguably probably one of, if not the best bits of the ride. Highly intense, very intense. You can nearly reach out and touch the water. I don't know what would happen. Your hand would go. I don't know where it would go. In the water. That's where it would go. The corkscrew, nothing special. The inline twist over the station, everyone screams there. Not me. I'm different. But I don't know why. Everyone screams there. Not me. I'm different. But yeah, the brilliant element that. It's very... Good job, me. I have described an inline twist to you all. Good. And overall, I think the ride's theme is great, the soundtrack is great, although they never play The Swarm, the hit song made for the ride The Swarm, called The Swarm. Anyway, enough of that. In number 2 is The Smiler, a ride that is clinging on by a thread to its place here in the top 10. Honestly, I feel quite bad for The Smiler. It was up at number 1 for years, then the current number 1, not going to spoil it, the current number 1 came in, just overtook it immediately, and now it's just getting rough. You know what isn't rough? The Swarm. The Swarm, and this is what I think. The Swarm is genuinely, it might overtake it this year. The Swarm is incredible. Hang time. I'm back to doing this again. I don't know why. Yeah, The Smiler is just incredible in every way. The soundtrack, probably the best soundtrack out there. If I'm probably wrong, but oh well. It's just insane. Just of course a constant barrage of inversions, one after the other, after the other, after woo, after the other. It just continues on like that. The vertical lift hill, everyone screams there, not me. I am different. Like I said, it's getting a rattle, and that worries me. I hope so much it doesn't get as bad as Saw. If it gets as bad as Saw, it might just fall out of the top 10 entirely. Saw is unbearably rough. It was in my top 10. It's not anymore. It's rough. It's bad. But yeah, I hope the Smiler like, they need to do something about it. Retrack it, maybe not, but just do something. Get lap bar trains, that'd be nice. But just do something, please. Don't let it get as rough as Saw. And the number 1 rounding up this whole video is Icon. What a ride, is what I would have said 2 years ago when I rode it last March. This March, I can't lie, I think it was running slow. It didn't feel like the same Icon I rode last year, but I'm hoping this was just a one-off. It was just running a bit slow. It was having an off day. We visited earlier in the year, so that must be it, surely. Right, Icon's good, right? And of course, on that visit, I did Enzo for the first time. Very good. The highlight I had to say, going up the non-inverting Immelman and facing directly down. That was definitely a highlight for me. Either way, back to Icon itself. It's great. Airtime. Quite a lot of it. Incredible, the best trains I've ever been in. Well, for a couple of days until Hyperia. If anything, Icon is just making me excited for Hyperia. Because I'm just imagining how comfortable and like free the Mac restraints are. But up there, not up there, that's my ceiling, but up, very high up. Quite high, okay, well, we're not very high up. If you look in the grand scheme of things, we're quite low actually. But yeah, I can just imagine the airtime on that is going to be impeccable. But anyway, back to Icon. Stay on Icon, please. It's just great. It's got a lovely... a lot of that going on. I don't know what that is, but a lot of that going on. Oh, if you're wondering what this is, it's a remote. Sorry, that was very boring. A very boring bit of news there. Yeah, it's got a lot of, like... the S-Bend is very good. I love the way it just interacts with every other ride imaginable. It's just incredible. It's almost perfect. except it's not almost perfect, it's quite far from perfect. But Hyperia, back to Hyperia, go away Icon, back to Hyperia, could be perfect, could be impeccable. But anyway, that's my top 10, hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you like this style of me being in it more, or if you just want me to disappear from the face of the earth and never appear in a video again, which I would happily do. Forgive me for going on about Hyperia in Icon segment, and Icon segment being a mess, and me being a mess, and the map wall being a mess. Anyway, subscribe if you want. I can't control you. Like if you want. I can't control you. Bye!